So, after all the good things and after all the bad things about this camera, would I recommend this to you guys? Hey dudes, and welcome back to another video. A couple of months ago I treated myself with a new camera, and today I wanted to make a review of it. The Canon M50. So why are you showing the box? Where's the actual camera? Well, I am filming with the camera so that you would see how the camera quality looks like if you're filming inside. And if I'm gonna film with anything else to show the camera, I will let you know. I haven't really used a lot of cameras, so buying a new one was quite a big deal for me. So I searched throughout all of the internet, read all of the reviews, and this is what I came up. Everyone online said this is the best camera you can get for the money. So let's see if it really is the truth. So I think I spent around 600 euros, which for a brand new camera plus a lens is quite a good deal. Let's start off with some good things. It's very well built, and by design, it actually just looks like any Canon DSLR, just a mini version. In the beginning, it felt really small and quite hard to grip, but in time you get used to it and you can't really feel the difference, and it just feels like you're using any Canon DSLR. Then you bring out this huge Canon 60D DSLR and you can really feel the comparison, how tiny and light that thing feels. The SD card and the battery has the same slot, which is great because you don't really need two slots for the size of the camera, but because how small the camera is, when you set it on a tripod, you can't take out the battery or the SD card, so you have to take it off the tripod, which is kind of annoying. Obviously the battery is a lot smaller, so if you would like to get two batteries, it would be the size of one Canon 60D battery. But for the size of the battery, it is actually really good, and most of the times I can get enough footage for one day before I need to charge it again. The battery does charge quite slowly, but I guess I'm just used to all these fast charging devices. But when it does charge to the full, it goes a long way. And obviously the charger is a little bit smaller than the Canon 60D, which is a great thing. For the size of the camera, it actually does have a good weight on it, so it doesn't feel like a cheap knockoff camera that you buy on eBay. But just like with the grip, when you compare it to the big cameras like this beast, you do realize how actually tiny and small it is. Which is a really good thing for me, because I already have tons of camera gear in my backpack to carry around when I'm making my travel videos. So having a tiny, small, light camera that has the same capabilities of bigger cameras is really important for me. For a small non-DSLR camera, it does have an electronic viewfinder, which is great because you can adjust the last settings before you take the shot. However, I have to say that it's not always 100% precise, because a lot of times when I take the photo, it is a lot different than the actual settings that I put in the viewfinder. The camera also has customizable buttons, which is kind of great because you can customize buttons and make the camera more personalized and easier to use for your own needs. Now let's talk about Wi-Fi. Probably most of the cameras now do have Wi-Fi. For me, this is the first one, and I think it's really great. In the beginning, it's harder to set up, but once you're set up, it's really useful, easy to use. For example, you can send the photos you've taken and the videos straight from the camera into your phone or laptop. With the Wi-Fi connection, you can also connect the camera screen to your phone, and you can start recording and change some of the settings, which is quite impressive. It also has a really good 4K time-lapse mode, which is customizable just for your own preferences, the way you like your time-lapses to look like. So instead of having these super huge files, then you drag them in your computer, retime in post-production, you save quite a lot of time, and the result is already good. I also wanted to mention the fact that when you're filming your 4K time-lapses, the camera automatically shuts off the screen, so it would save the battery, which I'm a big fan of. However, sometimes I do film my time-lapses the long way and then retime it because I have more flexibility in the editing process. But obviously when you're filming very long time periods of 4K time-lapses, the sizes are huge and the battery drains a lot quicker. But the fact that this camera can film very long time periods, it doesn't cut off, doesn't shut the camera itself off, is a really great thing, because usually I talk for very long time periods and then I realize the camera stopped filming. For example, this big beast, I don't know why, whichever SD card I used, it always stopped recording at 12 minutes. So you keep talking, you're filming your video, and you realize you're not filming anymore, which sucks. So I'm really glad that this new camera doesn't do that. So double plus from me. This camera has a really good touchscreen, which is quite large for the size of the camera. It almost covers the whole back of it. It's very responsive and easy to use, so you can change the settings without using actual buttons. You can point in the camera where you want the camera to focus on, and you can even use it as a shutter button if you want. You can flip the screen out so you can film yourself and see what you're filming, so it's really great for vloggers, so that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. If you're using an external microphone like I'm doing right now, when you're flipping the screen, you kind of have to play around to actually flip it properly, because the microphone jack will kind of cover the screen just a little bit, but it doesn't really bother me, so I don't think it would be a big deal breaker for you either. As I mentioned before, yes, you do have an input for an external microphone, and you have a mount plate on top of the flash. It also has manual audio controls, which is great, and the internal audio, just like pretty much any camera, isn't the best, but for inside videos in this kind of setting, I think it's quite acceptable. And I don't know if you noticed, but I did take off my external microphone just for this little part so you could feel the difference, if you do, hopefully. Okay, so external microphone is back on, so let's talk about the main reason why I wanted to buy a new camera. The video quality. So the main reason why I bought this camera is the 4K quality video. I film most of my videos now in 4K with my Google Pixel 2, which has a beautiful 4K quality camera, and the videos are perfect, so if I was ever to upgrade to a new camera, it had to have 4K quality. This camera films surprisingly good 1080p Full HD videos. I mean, yeah, this Canon 60D also films Full HD videos, but the quality isn't even comparable. The Full HD on this camera looks almost as good as the 4K. So I'm very impressed. So to keep the file sizes smaller, my editing process faster, I film most of my videos on this camera in Full HD and not in 4K. And let me tell you why. The colors are great, saturated, and there's no need to color edit in post-production. And the color profile is actually very similar to my Google Pixel 2, so I'm not spending much time in matching colors when I'm editing, which is great. So if the Full HD 1080p is so good, the 4K should be even better, right? Wrong. The 4K is indeed very beautiful on this camera. However, if you don't want to throw all of your footage in trash, then you can only film in manual focus, which for someone like me, who doesn't have anyone to pull the focus, is kinda lame. When I was watching all the reviews online, everyone kept saying, the dual focus does not work when you're filming on 4K. And I was like, it can't be that bad, right? It still focuses, it should be alright. Well, it is that bad. So when you're filming with autofocus turned on, for the most part it will keep searching or hunting for the right place to focus on, and it never really finds it, so the video is unusable. When I first bought this camera, we went to the Camino Island and filmed the vlog there, link somewhere here, and most of the video I did film in 4K because I was so excited, and I couldn't really see that it's shifting the focus so much in the tiny screen, but when I came home, put it on my laptop, I really noticed the difference, and the footage was useless. So I'm really glad that some of the footage I did film with my phone, which obviously didn't have any issues, so I did come up with a vlog anyways, but the footage filmed with this camera in 4K, trash. But the second you switch back to Full HD, the autofocus works perfectly. No problems, it keeps finding my face, works perfectly, and the videos are always crisp. So I can rely on the Full HD, and that's the main reason I film everything in Full HD. And just a reminder, the video footage is still really good. So the Full HD quality for me in this camera will actually be enough, and I still want to use it. But I do want to be fair, if you're controlling the focus yourself or the manual focus isn't a problem, the 4K videos are really beautiful. There's also a crop factor when you're filming in 4K, which a lot of people online did complain about until this one guy online said something very interesting. So you could use the 4K crop in your own advantage, because sometimes you just want to get just a little bit closer, but the lens doesn't allow it. So you turn it to 4K and you get just a little bit closer without losing the quality. But I do have to say, because of that crop factor, you can't really use the 4K to vlog, because it will be already zoomed and then you're putting it in 4K extra zoomed. And especially if you have the kit lens like I do. One little problem with this camera is that it has the EF mount for the lenses, so that means it has quite a small range of lenses that fit this camera. Obviously you can buy an adapter, which is about $100 I think, and then you can use most of the Canon compatible lenses if you're ready to invest more in this camera. But if you're a beginner, which this camera is aimed at, the Canon EOS M lens selection might even be enough. And the last thing I do want to complain about is the image stabilization. I have to say that for my style of filming, which involves a lot of fast movements, the videos from this camera are just too shaky. Yes, you can add a lens that has optical image stabilization, which the kit lens actually does have. Also, there's digital image stabilization, which is not the same thing as IBIS. And with both things enabled and keeping the camera as smooth as possible, the videos are just not as smooth as I would like them to be. So to fit my style of filming, I did decide to invest in a Ronin SC. Together with the Ronin SC and the external microphone from Rode, the setup is complete. The videos are smooth, they're really good quality, the sound is good, so I'm very impressed with all of the result that's coming out of it. Obviously, not everyone will feel that they need this super smooth video. A lot of people actually do prefer raw, shaky kind of footage, and not everyone wants to invest another $300 just to stabilize the footage. So, it's up to you. So, after all the good things and after all the bad things about this camera, would I recommend this to you guys? Yeah, definitely. As I said before, I'm not very familiar with other brand cameras, so I'm not sure if Sony, Fujifilm, Panasonic, or who else makes cameras, Olympus, if they have better deals, better cameras for better prices. Maybe they do. If they do, leave them in the comments. Let me know in case I'll need a new camera after 10 years. But if you're someone who's interested in photography and videography and you're just starting out, so you don't have the money to spend on professional equipment, then I think this is a really great place to start. Or if you're someone who is already familiar with cameras and just looking for something different, something smaller than a DSLR but has the same capabilities, I think this camera is also great for that. Which is mostly the reason why I wanted to buy this camera, because most of my videos are filmed far away from home, so I need to carry all my gear with me and it can be heavy, and I really needed to have a nice footage, which this camera can deliver. Alright dudes, this is the end of this video. If this review was any useful, leave a like. If you want me to make more videos, you can subscribe. That would be great. And now tell me, what do you think about this camera? Did you like it? If you have it, what are your thoughts about it? What's your experience? Are you using any other cameras that are better than this one? Let me know and let others know in the comments, because a lot of people might find it useful as well. Also, if you have any camera related questions about this camera, about any camera at all, if I can try to help you, I would love to respond. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!